So I recently had a chance to see the Assassin's Creed movie, which has a very strange critic to audience ratio on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics gave it an 18%, while the audience rated it as high as 65%. So I didn't know what to expect. And honestly, I might not be the target audience for this movie, seeing as I got no experience in Assassin's Creed. I didn't play the games, they just weren't my type of game. My dad played all the games. At least once. I think he might have played some of them twice. And my cousin also came and he played a few of the games, but none of them like religiously the way my dad does. So we all talked about the movie afterwards. So this is a mixture of my thoughts and people who have played the game's thoughts. We don't know who the target audience was. Because, weirdly enough, we all had the same nitpicks and ideas on where the movie was wrong. So we all agree that the best parts of the movie were the old world, where, if you haven't seen the movie, this would make no sense, but the movie is split into two basic parts. You've got the modern world, where the actual plot is going on. Well, I wouldn't say it like that, but yeah, the actual plot of the movie, what's happening in real life. And then you've got the Animus, which is a machine that brings the main character of the movie back in time 500 years to when the assassins were everywhere and things were actually happening. The old world is beautiful, fast-paced, fascinating. Honestly, the old world was the entertaining part of the movie. You get all your characters with defined motivations, why they're doing what they're doing, that beautiful detail in everything, and honestly, we all agree the movie would have been so much better if you just stuck it to the old world. We don't need the modern incarnations of the assassins. We don't need how, it's aggression and all this stuff. The characters do bring up a fascinating tidbit about what's more important. What is more important to you? Peace or free will? That's a really interesting thing. But you didn't need the modern world to do that, because the first 5 minutes of the film sets that up beautifully. And as it goes on, it keeps its main theme. I don't think we need any of the modern stuff. And my dad has told me that it follows the same path of the first movie, of the first game. And he said, what you're saying is a problem with the game as well. I understand wanting to be loyal to the storyline of the game, but not having the future match with the past would be fine. The meshing of the two timelines is unnecessary. If you kept it all in the past, you would have had a better overall film. That being said, I didn't hate this film. The characters are great. I really like the different assassins and their personalities. I just didn't really enjoy the future world. they had it set up so that it was a sort of paradise where they're trying to destroy aggression. And that doesn't really make sense because of the way all the characters act. And it's unnecessary. Just keep us in the old world where there is the two different warring factions, those who want peace, those who will do anything to keep free will, no matter what it does. I do like the idea that the assassins were aggressive, and that aggression goes through their DNA, but you didn't need a future world to explain that either. You could have had it in a passing line of dialogue. You're just as aggressive as the people who came before you, and the assassins would say, it's better to be aggressive than to be under someone else's control. There you go. And that's the tagline of the movie right there. I really do love this movie. Well, I can't say that. Movies I love are not this. This is a good movie. It is. I enjoyed a good 2/3 of it when they're in the past. There were a few scenes in the modern where they make little jokes that I find kind of funny. Like, oh, they care about their standard of living more than their free will. That's funny. But it wasn't necessary. Also, that would still fit in the old world. Like, there's a king character, and he cares more about his child than the free will of everyone. He's willing to give up the apple in order to save his child, which I really love that, and that's a theme that goes throughout the movie. The assassins are willing to die to keep their thing, but the biggest problem is they have to they have to let their loved ones die in order to also preserve it. And that must really suck. There's a scene where the 500 years ago main character is talking to the woman he loves, who is also an assassin. And the woman goes, "When I die, don't waste your tears on me, because the apple is more important than me." Which is a really heart-wrenching scene, especially since she says it so seriously, so coldly. Don't waste your tears on me. The apple is what's important. And that's really heartbreaking for the people you love to believe that something is more important than their own life, even if you yourself believe it's more important than your own life, which is a really interesting theme that if they didn't waste so much time on New World bullshit, they would have been able to scrape that out more and make that a bigger conflict than it is. Not to say the movie was bad. It had a lot of interesting themes, good scenes. I enjoyed the CGI. From what I read of critics' reviews, they didn't, but on the other hand, a critic watches movies as a living, so they've seen a lot more movies than I have, and could probably pick things out more easily. On the whole, it was a good movie. Had quite a few flaws that could have been avoided, and honestly, I think they were afraid that if they didn't change it, if they didn't keep it the way the story in the game was, even though, according to my dad, they did change a few things, I feel like they'd be afraid of the fans' reaction. But a lot of the fans of the game say, Well, yeah, that's the most boring part of the game, too, and I wouldn't mind if they cut it out. Or even, like, a 5-minute introduction for why things happen the way they are. He gets put into the Animus, and instead of being constantly taken out and pushed back in and taken out, you could have all the parts, and then the last 5 minutes is him waking, and then when they finally hide the apple, he wakes up, and you get the 20 minutes ending where where the assassins have to run away and go find the apple and take it from them. Also, like, I'm not sure if this is an insult to the movie or not, but I knew how it was gonna end when I sat down. Literally, as I sat down, I said, this is a movie about assassins, and the apple is the most important thing. So what's gonna happen is the bad guys are gonna get the apple, and they're gonna have a big showcase where they say, huzzah, we have the apple, and now we can take over all if we will. And then an assassin, or main character assassin, is gonna come up behind him and slit his throat and take the apple, because they're assassins. Would have been really interesting for me if that wasn't what happened. Like, I know it's this powerful scene and everything, but like, you knew it was gonna happen. I don't play the games, and I knew that was gonna happen. So that's what I think of it. I'd love to hear you guys sound off in the comments, tell me what you think of the movie, or how I'm wrong and the movie's perfect the way it is, or whatever. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And if you like it, because that'll really make me happy. Okay, bye! So, till next time.